Lord, honest to you guys and apostles of goodness done. Voices to Yahweh, Shema, 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 Kakadash, one to the one that they produce. So let's take a ride at the night, which is a good Negroes, Latins, Native Americans, as well as bloodline who are still oppressed together according to the book of Jeremiah 50:33. But to us alike belong the adoption, declaring the covenants, the giving of the law, the service of God, and the promises. According to the book of Romans, chapter 9, verse 4, Ecclesiastes 10 and 7. I have seen servants upon horses and princes walking as servants upon the earth. Chapter 38. He made the altar of burnt offering of shittim wood. 5 cubits was the length thereof, and 5 cubits the breadth thereof. It was 4 square and 3 cubits the height thereof, and he made the horns thereof on the 4 corners of it. The horns thereof were of the same, and he overlaid it with brass. And he made all the vessels of the altar, the posts, and the showels, and the basins, and the flesh hooks, and the fire pans. All the vessels thereof made he of brass, and he made for the altar a brazen grate of network under the compass thereof beneath unto the midst of it. And he cast 4 rings for the 4 ends of the grate of brass to the places for the staves. And he made the staves of shittim wood, and overlaid them with brass. And he put the staves into the wings on the sides of the altar to bear it withal. He made the altar hollow with boards. And he made the laver of brass, and the foot of it of brass of the looking glasses of the women assembling, which assembled at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And he made the court on the south side, southward. The hangings of the court were fine twined linen, and 100 cubits. Their pillars were 20, and their brazen sockets 20. The hooks of the pillars and their fillets were of silver, and for the north side the hangings were 100 cubits. The pillars were 20, and their sockets of brass 20. He took the hooks of the pillars and their fillets of silver, and for the west side were hangings of 50 cubits. The pillars 10, and their sockets 10. The hooks of the pillars and their fillets of silver, and for the east side eastwards 50 cubits. The hangings of the one side of the gate were 15 cubits, their pillars 3 and their sockets 3, and for the other side of the court gate on that hand were hangings of 15 cubits, their pillars 3, their sockets 3. All the hangings of the court round about were of fine twined linen, and the sockets of for the pillars were of brass. The hooks of the pillars and their fillets of silver, and the overlaying of their chapters of silver, and all the pillars of the court were filleted with silver, and the hanging of the gate of the court was needlework of blue and purple and scarlet and fine twined linen, and 20 cubits was the length, and the height in the breadth was 5 cubits, answerable to the hangings of the court, and the pillars were 4, and their sockets of brass 4, and the hooks of silver, and the overlaying of the chapters, and the fillets of silver, and all the pins of the tabernacle and of the court round about were of brass. This is the sum of the tabernacle, even of the tabernacle of testimonies. It was counted according to the commandment of Moses for the service of the Levites by the hand of Tamar, son to Aaron the priest, and Bezalel, the son of Uri, the son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah, made all that the Lord commanded Moses. And with him was Aholiab, the son of Ahisamach, of the tribe of Dan, an engraver and a cunning workman. Salakia chapters, Pins Tabernacle. And then embroidered. Let's read it again. And with him, verse 23, was Aholiab, son of Ahisamach of the tribe of Dan, an engraver and a cunning workman and an embroiderer in blue and purple and scarlet and fine linen. All the gold that was occupied for the work in all the work of the holy place, even the gold of the offering was 29 talents and 730 shekels after the shekel of the sanctuary, and the silver of them that were numbered of the congregation was 900 talents and 1,700 score and 15 shekels after the shekel of the sanctuary are beker for every man, that is half a shekel after the shekel of the sanctuary for every one that went to be numbered from 20 years old and upward for 600,000 and 3,550 men. And of the 100 talents of silver were cast the sockets of the sanctuary and the sockets of the veil, and 100 sockets of the 100 talents, a talent for a socket, and of the 1,770 and 5 shekels he made hooks for the pillars and overlaid the chapters and filleted them, and the brass of the offering was 70 talents and 2,400 shekels, and therewith he made the sockets to the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and the brazen altar, and the brazen grate for it, and all the vessels of the altar, and the sockets of the court round about, and the sockets of the court gate, and all the pins of the tabernacle, and all the pins of the court round about. Yeah, and chapter 39, and of blue and purple and scarlet they made cloths of service to do service in the holy place, and made holy garments for Aaron, as the Lord commanded Moses. And he made the ephod of gold, blue and purple and scarlet and fine twined linen. And they did beat the gold into thin plates, and cut it into wires to work it in the blue and in the purple and in the scarlet and in the fine linen with cunning work. They made shoulder pieces for it to couple it together. By the two edges was it coupled together, and the curious girdle of his ephod that was upon it was of the same, according to the work of gold, blue and purple and scarlet and fine twined linen, as the Lord commanded Moses. And they walked onyx stones enclosed in arches of gold, graven as signets are graven, with the names of the children of Israel, and he put them on the shoulders of the ephod, that they should be stones for a memorial to the children of Israel, as the Lord commanded Moses. And he made the breastplate of cunning work, like the work of the ephod of gold, blue and purple and scarlet and fine twined linen. It was 4 square. They made the breastplates double, a span as the length thereof, and a span the breadth thereof, being doubled. And they set in it 4 rows of stones. The first row was a sardius, a topaz, a carbuncle, and this was the first row, and the second row an emerald, sapphire, and a diamond, and the third row a ligure, an agate, and an amethyst, and the fourth row a beryl, an onyx, and a jasper. They were enclosed in arches of gold in their enclosings, and the stones were according to the names of the children of Israel, 12 according to their names. Yeah, which it's basically, you have to be careful if you go into these stones today, because the Hebrew, the original text, gives us information about the stones, right, which it is, but in today's world you have, first of all, you have a lot of fakes. Second of all, you need to really go into the source of those stones, right? I just leave it there. They were enclosed in arches of gold, and the enclosing the stones were according to the names of the children of Israel, 12 according to their names, like the engravings of a signet, every one with his name, according to the 12 tribes, and they made upon the breastplate chains at the ends of wroughten work of pure gold, and they made 2 arches of gold and 2 gold wings, and put the 2 wings in the 2 ends of the breastplate, and they put the 2 wroughten chains of gold and the 2 wings in the ends of the breastplate. The 2 ends of the 2 wroughten chains they fastened in the 2 arches, and put them on the shoulder pieces of the ephod before it, and they made 2 wings of gold and put them on the 2 ends of the breastplate upon the border of it, which was on the side of the ephod inward. And they made 2 other golden wings and put them on the 2 sides of the ephod underneath, toward the forepart of it, over against the other coupling thereof, above the curious girdle of the ephod. And they did bind the breastplate by his wings onto the wings of the ephod with a lace of blue, and that it might be above the curious girdle of the ephod, and that the breastplate might not be loosed from the ephod, as the Lord commanded Moses. And he made the robe of the ephod of woven work out of blue, and there was an hole in the midst of the robe as the hole of an habergeon, with a band round about the hole, that it should not wend. And they made upon the hems of the robe pomegranates of blue and purple and scarlet and twined linen, and they made bells of pure gold, and put the bells between the pomegranates upon the hem of the robe round about between the pomegranates, a bell and a pomegranate round about them, about the hem of the robe to minister in, as the Lord commanded Moses. And they made coats of fine linen of woven work for Aaron and for his sons, and a mitre of fine linen, or mitre, I don't know how you say that, and goodly bonnets of fine linen, and linen breeches of fine twined linen, and a girdle of fine twined linen, and blue and purple and scarlet, and of needlework, as the Lord commanded Moses. And they made the plate of the holy crown of pure gold, and wrote upon it a writing like to the engravings of a signet, holiness to the Lord. And they tied onto it, which holy means separated, if you don't know. They tied onto it a lace of blue to fasten it on height upon the mitre, as the Lord commanded Moses. Thus was all the work of the tabernacle of the tent of the congregation finished. And the children of Israel did according to all that the Lord commanded Moses. So that they brought the tabernacle unto Moses, the tent, and all his furniture, his taches, his boards, his spars, and his pillars, and his sockets, and the covering of rams skins dyed red, and the coverings of badger skins, and the veil of the covering, the ark of the testimony, and the staves thereof, and the mercy seat, the table, and all the vessels thereof, and the shewbread, and the pure candlestick with the lamps thereof, even with the lamps to be set in order, and all the vessels thereof, and the oil for light, and the golden altar, and the anointing oil, and the sweet incense, and the hanging for the tabernacle door, and the brazen altar, and his grate of brass, his staves and all his vessels, the laver and his food, and the hangings of the court, his pillars and his sockets, and the hanging for the court gate, his cords and his pins, and all the vessels of the service of the tabernacle for the tent of the congregation, the cloths of service to do service in the holy place, and the holy garments for Aaron and the priest and his sons' garments to minister in the priest's office, according to all that the Lord commanded Moses. So the children of Israel made all the work, and Moses did look upon all the work, and behold, they had done it as the Lord had commanded, even so had they done it, and Moses blessed them. Chapter 40. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, On the first day of the first month shalt thou set up the tabernacle of the tent of the congregation, and thou shalt put therein the ark of the testimony, and cover the ark with blue veil, and thou shalt bring in the table, and set in order the things that are to be set in order upon it, and thou shalt bring in the candlestick, and light, and lamps thereof, and thou shalt set the altar of gold for the incense before the ark of the testimony, and put the hanging of the door to the tabernacle, and thou shalt set the altar of the burnt offering before the door of the tabernacle. Of the tent of the congregation, and thou shalt set the laver between the tent of the congregation and the altar, and shalt put water therein, and thou shalt set up the court round about, and hang up the hanging at the court gate, and thou shalt take the anointing oil, and anoint the tabernacle and the oil that is therein. Sorry, I just watched it. Documentary. It's kind of strange. I suck here. Verse 8. And thou shalt set up the court round about, and up the hanging at the court gate, and thou shalt take the anointing oil, and anoint the tabernacle, and all that is therein, and shall hallow it, and all the vessels thereof, and it shall be holy. And thou shalt anoint the altar of the burnt offering, and all his vessels, and sanctify the altar, and it shall be an altar most holy, and thou shalt anoint the laver and his foot and sanctify it. And thou shalt bring Aaron and his sons unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and wash them with water. And thou shalt put on upon Aaron the holy garments, and anoint him and sanctify him, that he may minister unto me in the priest's office. And thou shalt bring his sons and clothe them with coats, and thou shalt anoint them as thou didst anoint their father, that they may minister unto me in the priest's office. For the anointing shall surely be an everlasting wisdom toward the generations. Thus did Moses, according to all the Lord had commanded them, so did he. It came to pass in the first month, verse 17, in the second year, on the first day of the month, that the tabernacle was reared up. That Moses reared up the tabernacle and fastened his sockets, and set up the boards thereof, and put in the bars thereof, and reared up his pillars. And he spread abroad the tent over the tabernacle, and put the covering of the tent above upon it, as the Lord commanded Moses. And he took and put the testimony into the ark, and set the staves on the ark, and put the mercy seat above upon the ark. He brought the ark into the tabernacle, and set up the veil of the covering, and covered the ark of the testimony, as the Lord commanded Moses. And he put the tabernacle in the tent of the congregation upon the side of the tabernacle northward, without a veil, and he set the bread in the order upon it before the Lord, as the Lord had commanded Moses. And he put the candlestick in the tent of the congregation over against the table on the side of the tabernacle southward, and he lighted the lamps before the Lord, as the Lord commanded Moses. And he put the golden altar into the tent, in the tent of the congregation before the veil, and he burnt sweet incense thereon, as the Lord commanded Moses. And he set up the hanging at the door of the tabernacle, and he put the altar of burnt offering by the door of the tabernacle of the tent of the congregation, and offered upon it the burnt offering and the meat offering, as the Lord commanded Moses. And he set the laver between the tent of the congregation and the altar, and put the water there to wash withal. And Moses and Aaron and his sons washed their hands and their feet thereat, when they went into the tent of the congregation, and when they came near unto the altar, they washed, as the Lord commanded Moses. And he reared up the court round about the tabernacle and the altar, and set up the hanging of the court gate. So Moses finished the work. Then a cloud covered the tent of the congregation, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. And Moses was not able to enter into the tent of the congregation, because the cloud abode thereon, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. And when the cloud was taken up from over the tabernacle, the children of Israel went onward in all their journeys. But if the cloud were not taken up, then they journeyed not till the day that it was taken up. For the cloud of the day of the Lord was upon the tabernacle by day, and fire was on it by night, and the sight of all the house of Israel throughout all the journeys. Leviticus 1. And the Lord called unto Moses, and spake unto him out of the tabernacle of the congregation, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, If any man of you bring an offering unto the Lord, ye shall bring the offering of the cattle, even of the herd and of the flock. If his offering be a burnt offering sacrifice of the herd, let him offer a male without blemish. He shall offer it of his own voluntary will at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation before the Lord. And he shall put his hand upon the head of the burnt offering, and it shall be accepted for him to make atonement for him. And he shall kill the bullock before the Lord, and the priests Aaron's son shall bring the blood, and sprinkle the blood round about upon the altar. That is by the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And he shall flay the burnt offering, and cut it into pieces. And the sons of Aaron the priest shall put fire upon the altar, and lay the wood in order upon the fire, And the priest's Aaron's son shall lay the parts, the head, and the foot in order upon the wood that is on the fire, which is upon the altar. But his inwards and his legs shall he wash in water, and the priest shall burn all on the altar to be a burnt sacrifice and offering made by fire of a sweet savour unto the Lord. And if his offering be of the flocks, namely of the sheep or of the goats, for a burnt sacrifice, he shall bring it a male without blemish, and he shall kill it on the side of the altar northward, before the Lord, and the priest's Aaron's son shall sprinkle his blood round about upon the altar, and he shall cut it in pieces, into his pieces with his head and his fat, and the priest shall lay them in order on the wood that is on the fire, which is on the altar, but he shall wash the inwards and the legs with water, and the priest shall bring it all and burn it upon the altar. It is a burnt sacrifice, an offering made by fire of sweet savour unto the Lord. And if the burnt sacrifice for his offering to the Lord be of wholes, then he shall bring as offering of turtle doves or of young pigeons, and the priest shall bring it onto the altar, and wring off his head, and burn it on the altar, and the blood thereof shall be wrung out at the side of the altar, and he shall pluck away his scarf with his feathers, and cast it beside the altar on the east part, by the place of the ashes, and he shall cleave it with the rings thereof, but shall not divide it asunder, and the priest shall burn it upon the altar, upon the wood that is upon the fire. It is a burnt sacrifice, an offering made by fire of sweet savour unto the Lord. Chapter 2. And when any will offer a meat offering unto the Lord, his offering shall be of fine flour, and he shall pour oil upon it, and put frankincense thereon. He shall bring it to Aaron's sons, the priests, and he shall take thereout this handful of the flour thereof, and of the oil thereof, with the frankincense thereof, and the priest shall burn the memorial of it upon the altar, to be an offering made by fire of a sweet savour unto the Lord. And the remnant of the meat offering shall be Aaron's and his sons. It is a thing most holy of the offerings of the Lord made by fire. And if to bring an oblation of a meat offering baken in the oven, it shall be unleavened cakes of fine flour, anointed with oil, or unleavened waters anointed with oil. And if the oblation be a meat offering baken in a pan, it shall be of fine flour, unleavened. Mingled with oil, thou shalt pour it in offering. And if the oblation be a meat offering baken in the frying pan, it shall be made of fine flour with oil. And thou shalt bring the meat offering that is made of these things unto the Lord, that when it is presented unto the priest, he shall bring it unto the altar. And the priest shall take from the meat offering a memorial thereof, and shall burn it upon the altar. It is an offering made by fire of a sweet savour unto the Lord. And that which is left of the meat offering shall be Aaron's and his sons, and it is a thing of the most holy, it is a thing most holy of the offerings of the Lord made by fire. No meat offering which he shall bring No meat offering which ye shall bring with leaven unto the Lord shall be made with leaven. For you shall burn no leaven, nor any honey, if any offering of the Lord made by fire. As of the oblation of the first fruits, ye shall offer them unto the Lord, but they shall not be burnt on the altar for a sweet savour. And every oblation of thy meat offering shall thou season with salt, neither shall thou suffer the salt of the covenant of thy God to be lacking from thy meat offering. With all thine offerings thou shalt offer salt. And if thou offer a meat offering of thy first fruits unto the Lord, thou shalt offer for the meat offering of thy first fruits green ears of corn dried by fire, or by the fire, even corn beaten out of full ears. And thou shalt put oil upon it, and lay frankincense thereon. It is a meat offering, and the priest shall burn the memorial of it, part of the beaten corn thereof, and part of the oil thereof, with all the frankincense thereof. It is an offering made by fire unto the Lord. 3. And if this oblation be a sacrifice of peace offering, if he offereth it of the herd, whether it be a male or female, he shall offer it without blemish before the Lord. And he shall lay his hand upon the head of his offering, and kill it at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And Aaron's sons, the priest, shall sprinkle the blood upon the altar round about. And he shall offer of the sacrifice of the peace offering, and an offering made by fire unto the Lord, the fat that covered the inwards, and all the fat that is upon the inwards, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is on them, which is by the flanks, and the caul above the liver. With the kidneys it shall he take away, and Aaron's son shall burn it on the altar upon the burnt offering which is upon the wood that is on fire. It is an offering made by fire of sweet savour unto the Lord. And if his offering for a sacrifice of peace offering unto the Lord be of the flock, male or female, he shall offer it without blemish. If he offer a lamb for his offering, then shall he offer it before the Lord, and he shall lay his hand upon the head of his offering, and kill it before the tabernacle of Aaron's congregation and Aaron's sons. He shall sprinkle the blood thereof round about upon the altar, and he shall offer of the sacrifice of the peace offering, an offering made by fire unto the Lord, and the fat thereof, and the whole rump. It shall he take apart by the backbone, and the fat that covered the inwards, and all the fat that is upon the inwards, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is upon them, which is by the flanks, and the caul above the liver, with the kidneys it shall he take away. And the priest shall burn it upon the altar. It is the food of the offering made by fire unto the Lord. And if his offering be a goat, then he shall offer it before the Lord, and he shall lay his hand upon the head of it, and kill it before the tabernacle of the congregation. And the sons of Aaron shall sprinkle the blood thereof upon the altar round about, and he shall offer thereof his offering, even an offering made by fire unto the Lord. The fat that covered the inwards, and all the fat that is upon the inwards, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is upon them, which is by the flanks, and the caul above the liver, with the kidneys it shall he take away, and the priest shall burn them upon the altar. It is the fruit of the offering made by fire. It is a sweet savour. All the fat is the Lord's. It shall be a perpetual statute for all your generations, throughout all your dwellings, that ye eat neither fat nor blood. Chapter 4. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, If a soul shall sin through ignorance against any of the commandments of the Lord concerning things which ought not to be done, he shall do against any of them. If the priest that is anointed do sin according to the sin of the people, then let him bring for his sin which he had sinned a young bullock without blemish unto the Lord for a sin offering, and he shall bring the bullock unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation before the Lord, and shall lay his hand upon the bullock's head, and kill the bullock before the Lord. And the priest that is anointed shall take the bullock's blood, and bring it to the tabernacle of the congregation, and the priest shall dip his finger in the blood, and sprinkle of the blood 7 times before the Lord, before the veil of the sanctuary. And the priest shall put some of the blood upon the horns of the altar of the sweet incense before the Lord, which is in the tabernacle of the congregation, and shall pour all the blood of the bullock at the bottom of the altar of the burnt offering, which is at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and he shall take off from it all the fat of the bullock for a sin offering, the fat that covered the inwards, and all the fat that is upon the inwards, the two kidneys, and the fat that is upon them, which is by the flanks, and the caul above the liver, with the kidneys it shall he take away. And it was taken off from the bullock of the sacrifice of peace offerings, and the priest shall burn them upon the altar of the burnt offering, and the skin of the bullock, and all his flesh, with his head, and with his legs, and his inwards, and his tongue, even the whole bullock shall he carry forth without the camp unto a clean place, where the ashes are poured out, and burn him on the wood with fire, where the ashes are poured out shall be burnt. And if the whole congregation of Israel sin through ignorance, and the thing be hid from the eyes of the assembly, and they have done something against the commandments of the Lord concerning things which should not be done, and are guilty when the sin which they have sinned against it is known, then the congregation shall offer a young bullock for the sin, and bring him before the tabernacle of the congregation, and the elders of the congregation shall lay their hands upon the end of the bullock before the Lord, and the bullock shall be killed before the Lord. And the priest that is anointed shall bring of the bullock blood to the tabernacle of the congregation, and the priest shall dip his finger in some of the blood, and sprinkle it 7 times before the Lord, even before the veil. And he shall put some of the blood upon the horns of the altar, which is before the Lord, that is in the tabernacle of the congregation, and shall pour out all the blood at the bottom of the altar of the burnt offering, which is at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And he shall take all his fat from him, and burn it upon the altar, and he shall do with the bullock as he did with the bullock as for a sin offering, so shall he do with this. And the priest shall make an atonement for them, and it shall be forgiven them. And he shall carry forth the bullock without the camp, and burn him as he burned the first bullock. It is a sin offering for the congregation. When the ruler had sinned and done something to ignorance against any of the commandments of the Lord his God concerning things which should not be done, and is guilty, or if his sin wherein he had sinned come to his knowledge, and he shall bring his offering, a kid of the goats, a male without blemish, and he shall lay his hand upon the head of the goat, and kill it in the place where they kill the burnt offering before the Lord as a sin offering. And the priest shall take off the blood of the sin offering with his finger, and put it upon the horns of the altar of burnt offering, and shall pour out his blood at the bottom of the altar of burnt offering. And he shall burn all his fat upon the altar as the fat of the sacrifice of peace offerings. And the priest shall make an atonement for him as concerning his sin, and it shall be forgiven him. If any of the common people sin through ignorance, while he doeth somewhat against any of the commandments of the Lord concerning things which ought not to be done, and be guilty for this, or if his sin which he had sinned come to his knowledge, then he shall bring his offering, a kid of the goats, a female without blemish for his sin which he had sinned, and he shall lay his hand upon the head of the sin offering, and slay the sin offering in the place of the burnt offering. And the priest shall take of the blood thereof with his finger, and put it on the horns of the altar of burnt offering, and shall pour out all the blood thereof at the bottom of the altar, and he shall take away all the fat thereof, as the fat is taken away from of the sacrifice of peace offerings, as the priest shall. And the priest shall burn it upon the altar for a sweet savour unto the Lord. And the priest shall make an atonement for him, and it shall be forgiven him, and he shall. And if he bring a lamb for a sin offering, he shall bring it a female without blemish, and he shall lay his hand upon the head of the sin offering, and slay it for a sin offering in the place where they kill the burnt offering. And the priest shall take of the blood of the sin offering with his finger, and put it upon the horns of the altar of the burnt offering, and shall pour out all the blood thereof at the bottom of the altar. And he shall take away all the fat thereof, as the fat of the lamb is taken away from the sacrifice of the peace offerings. And the priest shall burn them on the altar according to the offerings made by fire unto the Lord. And the priest shall make an atonement for his sin that he had committed, and it shall be forgiven.